Before we get into the activities for what's going to happen on Saturday, which is a very special day, I'd like to discuss something that is also happened. It's quite special to all of us. And Balloon Fiesta is well known for setting records. We are obviously the largest balloon festival in the world. We are the most photographed event in the world. There's so many different superlatives that we could actually talk about with Balloon Fiesta, but we do like to set world records. In 2019, actually on October the 6th, we actually set a new Guinness Book of World Record for the greatest mass ascensions of hot air balloons, and that was 524 balloons, which we launched right here at Balloon Fiesta Park. So of course that was always kind of nice. And we've been striving for a new world record ever since. So we always kind of like to set the stage for bigger and better, and we've been able to do that again. Yesterday, Wednesday, October the 11th, was a very special day. And as you know, we have gas balloons, we have special shape balloons, we have all kinds of balloons, but one of the, I guess, sometimes overlooked is our Fiesta de los Globitos, or our RC balloon rally. And I am happy to report that a new world record was set yesterday.
At this time, I'd like to introduce someone who is very familiar with all things above the ceiling, and that would be Steve Cates. He is known as Dr. Sky, has a number of different, has great experience on this topic, and so with that, I would like to introduce Dr. Sky. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for your attention to probably one of the most amazing events to happen in this part of the nation and around other parts of the United States. As a TV and radio broadcaster with the largest radio station in America, we hail from Talk Radio 77 WABC out of New York and many stations around the country in television. But more important than that, what I'd be doing here on this particular special event on Saturday is to share with you the sacred geometry of an annular solar eclipse. As guests before have mentioned, when the moon has reached its farthest point away from the Earth, we call it apogee, we find that that moon is too small to fit the circumference of the sun. And then, interestingly enough, we get to see this spectacular ring of fire. And we've heard all the calls to protect our eyes from the light of the sun. So we hope to be there, we will be there, with thousands of people here, and I want to thank Tom for inviting me and our team, the Dr. Sky team, to Balloon Fiesta. It's the first time I've been here. I live in Phoenix, and the drive over here was amazing because we know, as you folks know, who've experienced this so many times before, the weather conditions at this time of year are usually absolutely tranquil. So here's some of the things that we hope to explain in greater detail with the many thousands of people that are going to be here. As that moon glides across the sun, you'll see it coming from the very top edge of the sun. And for those that are on the field, and there will be telescopes available, we have an opportunity to experience something even more rare, or much rarer, to use the better way to put it. As that moon glides across the disk of the sun, when one edge of the moon is moving across just at the edge where it meets the sun, there's a concept and something in astronomy that astronomers have observed for many, many years called the Bailey's beads. And what is that? You'll see bright spots around the edge of the sun, albeit maybe for a few seconds. But what you're seeing is something even more dramatic. The light of the sun shining through mountains on the lunar surface. And remember, if we were on the surface of the moon, as we know every single day here, we see the sun rise in the east and rapidly move over to the west in a period of what? 12 to 14 hours, maybe less. But on the lunar surface, the day on the moon would be 14 Earth days. So imagine what future astronauts would be able to see as they look back. And I must mention someone who's passed on to the infinite, a good friend of mine, and maybe you've met him in the past. Dr. Edgar Mitchell of Apollo 14, a good friend of many people. He was one of the only astronauts to ever claim that he had a out-of-body experience, and many in the astronaut corps kind of laughed at that. But I asked Dr. Mitchell when he was on the surface of the moon with America's first astronaut, Alan Shepard, did you ever have a chance to look back up at the Earth from the surface of the moon? And here's what he said. We were very busy. We were the last crew on the moon to pull the little rickshaw, the little luggage cart with the moon rocks. And I said, well, did you get to see anything? And he said, tell the audience, tell everyone that from the surface of the moon, the full moon that you see is the Earth would appear 4 times the diameter of what the biggest full moon you would ever see here. So think of it, as hundreds of thousands and millions and maybe a billion eyes are looking up toward the moon and the sun, can you imagine what we hope for in the future when humans once again go to the surface of the moon? It's an honor to be here. We'll be sharing many things, but I have one that's a little lighter in concept as maybe one technique to observe the eclipse. And as others have mentioned before, everybody will be given a pair of solar glasses, but here's an interesting technique, and we use it on our TV shows and on radio, the Theater of the Mind. We tell people, take a real saltine cracker, and the trivia question is, how many holes does it have? The real one has 13, but some of them have 16. But the point I'm making is, if the sun were where Tom is, and I had a sheet of paper and I hold this, children will love this because you're not looking at the sun. The light of the sun will shine through onto that piece of paper when we're reaching near maximum of the annular eclipse. And the cool thing is, you can maybe have a little party on this. You can eat them and put peanut butter for all the kids. Isn't that a cool way to have a celebration? So again, Tom, thank you for your time. We're privileged and honored, our Dr. Sky team, to be here with you. And also, as you may hear us on Coast to Coast, I'm their science correspondent for astronomy and space. And of course, you all know the legacy that Art Bell started many, many years ago with our current host, George Norrie. It's an honor and privilege to be here. Be happy to answer any questions individually on the specifics of the eclipse and some interesting eclipse stories. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Okay, how many people knew about the saltine cracker? Not me. That's good stuff right there. Thank you very much, Dr. Sky. I'm glad that you're here.